Hi, my name is Bríd Smith. I'm a TD with People Before Profit in Dublin South Central, and I've just left the first half of the joint committee of the Oireachtas looking into the 8th Amendment of the Constitution. And today we had a witness called Veronica O'Keefe. She's a psychiatrist from Trinity College, and was gassed because when I was a young one I used to pal around with Veronica, and it's only since the Repeal campaign started that we've begun to bump into each other again at events like conferences and today. One of the points Veronica made very strongly was that the metaphysical discussion about abortion and the right to choose needs to move on to looking at the ethical issues, and the ethical issues that are driven by the needs of women, the health needs of women. When she was asked, the psychiatrist said to the question, do you think that the floodgates would open if abortion services were provided here? She answered it very cleverly and very well and very truthfully, because she said the floodgates are open. It's just that they're open to the UK, because women who can travel go to England for abortions and have done so for the last 5 decades. From a professional point of view, I thought it was interesting when she showed us a copy of the guidelines that the Oireachtas issued to psychiatrists on the question of the Protection of Life During Pregnancy Act 2013, and she read out the first few sentences, and those sentences reiterated that the PLDPA was to maintain the prohibition on abortion in this country that the 8th Amendment enshrines, and it also said that it had to keep the criminality element of that prohibition. And the simple point that she makes as a doctor is, how do you give this sort of a guideline to a medical practitioner who's supposed to be looking after both the mental and physical health of women? And as she says herself, these things are interlinked. And so when you look at the maintenance of that criminality for both women and for medical practitioners being maintained by the 8th Amendment, you immediately think about Savita, who 5 years ago on Saturday lost her life. And I can't help thinking, while I'm sitting there all day today, what it was like for her at this moment in time, the middle of the week leading up to her last breath 5 years ago. She went through a horrendous time, and she went through that time of pain, of distress, of frustration, and ultimately of the loss of life because of the 8th Amendment of our Constitution. So on Saturday at 4 o'clock at the GPO here in Dublin, and indeed in other towns and cities throughout the country, we are all gathering to remember Savita and to reiterate our determination to repeal the 8th. And I am pleading with you to get there, not just out of decency and sympathy and solidarity with Savita and her family, but because we don't want any more Savitas in this country, and we have to keep mobilising to ensure that we get the 8th Amendment out of the Constitution, that we are free to make a choice as women.